I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. So that's what happened. That's what you said.
Pada video kali ini, kita akan melihat bagaimana seorang petinju tidak hanya mengandalkan kekuatan pukulan untuk merobohkan lawan, tapi lebih memaksimalkan kecerdasan otak untuk menyudahi pertarungan. Mereka membaca kebiasaan lawan, menanamkan jebakan, dan menunggu sampai momen itu datang dengan sempurna.
Forrest fire, isn't it? That's what we've got here. Oh, is that right hand? The referee might have stepped in. It's more. He stepped in. He's got shot.
Ini bukan hanya soal siapa yang lebih kuat, tapi tentang siapa yang berpikir lebih cepat dan bertindak lebih tepat.
Swing around on your opponent's side and then crack. Oh, he got a right uppercut. Another right uppercut. And down goes Magnus. He stepped back and did it again.
Inilah 5 pukulan KO paling jenius dalam olahraga tinju.
The chopping right hook that caught the Kovalev attention.
And will have a legacy. What an amazing, tough guy fighter. Wonderful tactics. Huge credit to Robert McCracken, the trainer in Froch, for devising these.
And here we go for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship.
Ini adalah pertarungan untuk perebutan gelar IBF Super Middleweight yang dimiliki Lucian Bute.
The champion, Lucian Bute.
Sebagai penantang, rencana awal Carl Froch adalah menekan guna mempersempit ruang gerak sang juara. Namun rencana itu tidaklah akan mudah, karena Bute adalah petinju yang sangat teknikal, cepat, licin, dan punya pertahanan yang sulit ditembus.
Both taking chances. I think this is going to be better than even we expected.
Bute significantly. He's hardly landed it.
Bute can't get himself close.
Tracks at the side of him anyway. Took a couple of left.
Seiring berjalannya pertarungan, Carl Froch sepertinya mulai sadar jika ada celah di antara pertahanan Bute.
Good right hand from Froch. Hammers in right hand and lets him get. Bute's in trouble here. Taking some heavy shots.
Momen singkat di mana Bute akan menurunkan sedikit tangannya untuk mengintai.
Survived the punishment that was dished out in that round. Look at that.
Dan Carl Froch terus memanfaatkan momen ini.
He would like a couple of quiet rounds just to get his head clear. Look, every time Froch takes it to him.
Really had since the Andrade quite late on in the game. Those big booming shots in the right hand. Bute took that. Has got him through to this point. But Froch can smell blood here. Oh, and a big shot. Rocks the head. Is the referee stopping
the bell?
Oh,
The bell. It's the bell.
He hardly knew the way back to the corner there. A minute might not have been long enough, I don't think.
Memasuki ronde kelima, Carl Froch sengaja memancing agar Bute dalam posisi bertahan,
He's showing great courage.
lalu menunggu momen yang tepat untuk menyerang.
Nottingham Forest fire, isn't it? That's what we've got here. Oh, is that right hand? The referee might have stepped in. It's more. He stepped in this time, surely.
Sesuai perhitungan Carl Froch, lawannya akan menurunkan tangan saat tertekan di tali ring.
What an amazing, tough guy fighter. Wonderful tactics. Huge credit to Robert McCracken, the trainer.
Sebuah penyelesaian yang sempurna dengan memanfaatkan pola pertahanan lawan.
Carl Froch, once, twice, 3 times a champion. Still the Sheriff of Nottingham. And that...
Canelo Alvarez dikenal sebagai salah satu master counter modern. Dan salah satu KO paling jeniusnya terjadi saat menghadapi Sergey Kovalev.
Until they get in there and fight. And here we go. The key to his victory if Kovalev wants to win this. He has to keep.
Dari awal pertarungan, Kovalev mengandalkan jangkauannya untuk menekan. Dan itu sukses membuatnya menang di beberapa ronde. Canelo berusaha membalas dengan hook dan jab. Namun Kovalev punya pertahanan rapat. Kovalev diunggulkan dengan tinggi badan dan jangkauan.
Too many
Namun semuanya berubah di ronde ke-11.
Canelo's winning these two in this round already, and that one landed in the right hand. He's getting closer. A lot more oomph on his shots. There's Canelo connects the right hand.
Having to move his head because Kovalev's not even committing to it.
Hold on a second. It's over. That fast. There's fifth gear.
Sepintas, KO itu terlihat seperti ledakan tiba-tiba. Padahal sebenarnya, Canelo sudah membuat tipuan kecil untuk menjatuhkan lawan.
Out the crusher in the championship rounds.
Awalnya Canelo menjebak lawan ke sudut ring.
Canelo throws it into another.
Kovalev yang merasa tertekan, berusaha melakukan rangkulan. Namun pada saat yang sama, Canelo malah melepaskan pukulan kanan.
And wow. That is
Tipuan dimulai ketika Canelo menatap tajam ke arah perut lawan. Setelah memblokir pukulan, Canelo yang matanya tetap mengarah pada perut Kovalev bergerak seolah akan memukul bagian tersebut. Tindakan itu membuat Kovalev salah menilai dan langsung memusatkan perhatian untuk melindungi area perut.
and Canelo Alvarez did just
Tapi ternyata, Canelo membelokkan arah pukulan ke bagian kepala yang cukup terbuka. Satu pukulan berikutnya langsung menyudahi pertarungan.
that power into his final rounds really says a lot about Canelo Alvarez.
and wow, that is a game plan expertly followed.
Not intimidated and is throwing punches and trying his best to get the edge and win. Like it's a fight, trying to knock you out.
Tak diragukan lagi, Mike Tyson adalah petinju kelas berat yang punya kecepatan dan kekuatan pukulan di atas rata-rata.
hand by Mike Tyson is invited.
That's a change of plan with a
Namun saat menghadapi Buster Mathis Jr., bukan hanya kekuatan dan kecepatan yang diperlihatkan, tapi juga bagaimana kejeniusannya mematahkan gaya bertarung lawan.
Walk around a fighter like Mike Tyson. Don't be intimidated.
And here we go.
He ran right at Mike Tyson, much like Peter McNeely did.
Sejak awal, Mathis Jr. langsung mendekat, berusaha menyembunyikan kepalanya di bawah dagu Tyson. Tujuannya hanya satu, agar si leher beton tidak melepaskan pukulan pamungkasnya. Walaupun pada prosesnya, ia terjatuh karena terburu-buru mengambil posisi yang dinilainya aman dari kebrutalan Tyson.
There will be an evaluation.
But you know, in those punches of that Peter McNeely fight, he missed many times.
Tyson connects right there. And Mathis comes back with the...
And he has done a nice job. All he does is extend his hooks.
Selama 2 ronde, Mathis Jr. bergelut dengan cara seperti ini.
Down at me, which is something he's not only not used to, but not as good at. And you're going to see some quick combinations by Mathis. Now, as we spoke about
Misses again with the left.
from the
Now he
southpaw
connects with the
stance,
left. And he comes with the right.
every punch tomorrow.
Oh, and there is a nice right uppercut. And then Tyson counters himself. Now it's changing blows. Top action in this battle between two big heavyweights and
Namun pada akhirnya, di ronde ketiga, Tyson menemukan cara bagaimana mengakhiri permainan ini.
Behind the jab. Frank Cappuccino.
Oh, Tyson caught him with the right uppercut right there.
Your opponent's side and then crack.
Oh, he got a right uppercut. Another right uppercut. And down goes Mathis.
Sebuah langkah kecil dilakukan Tyson untuk mengambil jarak serang. Mathis Jr. yang kaget dengan gerakan tiba-tiba ini tidak siap menerima pukulan. 3 uppercut dari Tyson langsung merobohkan lawannya.
Right uppercut. Two of them by Mike Tyson. And he is knocked down Buster Mathis Jr.
And he's ranked among the best as pound for pound, the best in the world.
Alexander Usyk mungkin bukan petinju dengan pukulan paling kuat, tapi IQ tinjunya luar biasa. Seperti bagaimana dia mengumpulkan data selama pertarungan saat menghadapi Tony Bellew.
A mighty matchup about to unfold. Here we go.
Di ronde-ronde awal, Usyk bermain pasif,
Bellew coming off the back of the two.
membaca setiap serangan dan pergerakan Bellew.
Usyk really just finding his feet.
King, the undisputed champion who holds doors. It's a momentous night.
The show reel
knockouts that he'd been watching on the build-up to this. And
Aksi minim Usyk ini membuat beliau frustasi.
Jamie Moore was telling us the other week he fancies Bellew strong.
this is good work from Tony Bellew early on.
It's an excellent start, and he won.
Dan itu sepertinya memang bagian dari strategi.
Tony Bellew, and this is all part of a performance.
Bellew said
He's trying to draw him in so he can land a big counter punch, and here it comes. Tony Bellew not too worried about it.
and when they get in close,
Memasuki ronde ketiga, Usyk mulai aktif menyerang.
I was saying, don't underestimate Tony Bellew's boxing ability.
Sepertinya dia ingin melihat bagaimana pertahanan lawan.
loads of trouble in sparring a few years ago, and this is better from the Ukrainian, and he's Usyk trying to dig the punches in. Left hand gets through.
Did they affect him?
Usyk not allowing that, but that's good stuff from Tony Bellew, and he's got a grip down on his gum shield there. Alexander Usyk.
Setelah semua data terkumpul, saatnya eksekusi.
He's backing Bellew up again into the neutral corner. There's that left hand. He's got to take care of Tony Bellew, but it's looking brighter for the Ukraine.
Starting to get home now with these quality punches from Usyk, and you can see Tony Bellew wearing down, still looking for that right hand, closing this gap with real, minimum effort push.
Usyk made a key adjustment. He made a
Para pengamat menyebut cara bertarung cerdas seperti ini sebagai adaptive intelligence. Sebuah kemampuan untuk belajar di tengah pertarungan dan langsung mengeksekusi.
A special talent and a special finish.
Well, Tony Bellew was boxing really well.
I whoop Sonny Liston, you wait till I get George Foreman, and they make me the underdog. I'm gonna show them all they're wrong, because I'm the champion. I'm the real champion, and I'm going to train. I'm gonna get ready and chop some more trees.
Terakhir, ada cara bertarung nekat yang dilakukan Muhammad Ali ketika menghadapi George Foreman. Sebuah jebakan penuh resiko dan mungkin akan mustahil digunakan jika bukan oleh seorang maestro. George Foreman dikenal sebagai pemukul terkuat dalam sejarah tinju.
No one ever hit it the way Foreman did.
Bahkan, kekuatan pukulannya masih diakui hingga saat ini. Untuk menghadapi petinju terkuat yang belum terkalahkan itu, Muhammad Ali telah mempersiapkan strategi khusus yang dinamainya dengan rope a dope. Rope a dope didefinisikan sebagai taktik bertahan dalam olahraga tinju, di mana seorang petarung bersandar di tali ring dan membiarkan lawannya terus-menerus memukul. Strategi yang bertujuan untuk membuat lawan kelelahan dan frustasi, sehingga rentan terhadap serangan balik mematikan. Tentu saja, ini butuh teknik dan fokus tingkat tinggi agar pukulan lawan dapat diserap dengan baik. Salah sedikit saja pukulan lawan bisa membahayakan. Setelah lebih dari 5 ronde bergelut, Foreman mulai kelelahan. Pukulannya melambat. Ali tidak menyiapkan kesempatan melakukan serangan balik yang langsung menyudahi pertarungan ini. Petinju terkuat itu akhirnya roboh, tak sanggup melanjutkan pertarungan.
I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. So that's what happened. Because Allah has power over all things. If you believe in Him, nothing, even George Foreman, will look like a baby.